Hi guys, welcome back to another video, you sexy people out there. We are continuing with Jubilee's reaction to what is sex like for straight couples. We did straight women, we did straight men, I think. I don't know, I've done so many of these that who knows at this point. But this time, it is straight couples. So we're gonna figure out what sex is actually like for straight couples. Hopefully figure out a couple things that'll help you guys out with my expert analysis and my breakdown of what they say as a sex coach, as a self-proclaimed sex expert, if you will. So join me as I react to this video, and we can maybe learn a thing or two about sex along the way, and hopefully have some fun while we do it. I don't know how Jubilee gets away with uploading videos like this with sexual content when mine gets pushed down like crazy in other sex coach content that I've seen, but you know, somehow I guess they're paying someone at YouTube to keep their videos promoted, but you know, that's a rant for another time. If you want to support my channel and what I do, then go down there and subscribe, and then enjoy the video.
How long does sex normally last?
Okay, so how long does sex normally last is the first question, and I would say, who cares? It's going to vary, and it should vary because variety is extremely important in sex. You don't want sex to be stale because then it becomes boring. And have you ever thought of a good sexual experience and then thought, that was great, but it was kind of boring, right? That's not going to be good. So it should be variable. I don't think we're going to gain any like groundbreaking knowledge about this. We're just going to figure out how long their sexual experiences last. And I will say that most of these are not going to be accurate. They've done so many studies on how long is the optimal time for sex, and it's always some completely wild out there number where women will say, oh, I want sex for an hour, and then their most amazing sexual experience they've ever had in their life was 10 minutes. But it feels like an hour maybe to them in that moment. So people misjudge this stuff, and I don't think we're going to gain much from it, but let's see what their answers are anyway.
I don't keep track. I mean, on a good day, yes, 10 minutes. Or maybe more sometimes.
We don't do foreplay.
We just normally straight
to the point, done and done.
Don't do that. Do foreplay. Definitely do foreplay.
He normally gives me a good 30 minutes.
And I also would say it depends on if she have been drinking or not. Or we have been drinking.
Yeah.
So like if it's wine, it's a different story. There's a ball game there. But
What you trying to say?
3, 2, 1.
15.
37 minutes.
37 minutes?
I think so. We actually have a video of us having sex. Let's see how long it
Whoa.
is. I'm not gonna show it. I'm gonna see the time
Whoa.
code. Oh, it's only 13:43.
But I think we stopped recording.
Okay, so then if you add that plus the 20 minutes, we're right on time.
You did it right.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, it's going to be around, I think the optimal time is around 8 to 12 minutes. I think when you get longer than that, you can do it, of course. You can go shorter or longer than that boundary that I have just arbitrarily created. You can obviously go beyond that if you are feeling it. Sometimes if you push it for too long, you start to kind of get out of the experience. You kind of lose that immersion, and you start thinking about other things, and then the quality of the sex kind of goes downhill. If you go any faster than that, you have the other problem of just not spending enough time and kind of cutting it short, and your partner is like, I want more, I'm not satisfied yet. Obviously you can make it happen in 2 minutes, I think even, but kind of stay around that 8 to 12 mark and you'll be fine. I also wouldn't suggest looking at the clock and seeing how long you're having sex. Just do what feels right. And yeah, it doesn't matter at all. Let's move on to the next question that hopefully matters more.
Do you both finish every time?
Okay, so this is an interesting question because I don't think that every partner has to finish every single time. That may be a controversial opinion, but I just don't think it's necessary. There is more to enjoy in sex than just the orgasm part. Obviously, this goes without saying, it should go without saying, but if your partner wants to finish, then they should finish. You shouldn't be selfish and just only finish yourself off and then be like, all right, see you later, we'll have sex next week, I'll see you at the same time. I mean, so it's going to vary. If you guys just don't happen to finish, or one finishes and the other doesn't, but you guys are both satisfied, then who cares? You can do whatever you want in a relationship, in a sexual relationship. And like I said, variety is going to be a good thing, so you probably should vary that kind of stuff. But like I said, of course, if your partner wants to finish, help them finish. That's what you're there for.
I finish every time.
You do? You know what? You have.
He makes sure I finish every single time first. Like, he makes sure I'm taken care of, and then he worries about himself. So I appreciate that.
Yes. Yes. That's something that was not prioritized with me and something that he does a really good job of making sure. It's really unfortunate though that in a straight couple relationship, the female typically always has to finish first. It's just constantly, okay, let's like get you off and then you get to go kind of thing.
Yeah, and the problem with that is that men usually, once they have the orgasm, they are kind of no longer interested in sex anymore, and they kind of lose that immersion that I alluded to earlier. So yeah, it's hard, and it's going to most likely be that way where men will take the time to get their partner off first because they know once they have that orgasm, the sex is basically over for them, at least mentally. Of course, they can continue doing things, but it's just kind of harder for a lot of men to get into it and continue the dirty talk when their brain is like turned off the immediate second the ejaculation occurs for most men. So yeah, that's just kind of a product of biology. I think if you make an effort to make your partner finish, that's all that matters. If they want to finish and you make it happen, then good for you. If they don't even need to finish because they feel satisfied without it and there's no pressure, then you don't have to, and it's going to vary depending on the couple. What I will say is that you shouldn't have sex just to get off. It shouldn't be your main goal. It shouldn't be like the end point, like, okay, you get finished and then I get finished and then it's done and then we can have sex again another day. You guys should enjoy the experience, enjoy the closeness, enjoy the connection, the emotional component to sex. It's going to strengthen your relationship and it's going to make the sexual experiences better, finishing or no finishing.
My best orgasm is yet to come. And I feel like only I can give it to me. It's just not, it's nothing about him. It's just my body, and it's so difficult for me to.
She always tells me how and this way and do that way, but then sometimes it doesn't work, or I get, too into it, and then I feel like bad sometimes too, because I feel like I'm selfish in that part.
Even like when I'm just doing it to myself, I feel shameful when I hit orgasm, and it's just like a natural feeling that today I still don't understand why.
And you guys wonder why I emphasize mental stimulation over the physical and how important psychological stimulation is to the quality of sex. So yes, this happens so many times for so many people, and it's a shame, and it happens because they feel some sort of shame or anxiety having an orgasm and kind of letting themselves go and being in that vulnerable position. Having an orgasm for a woman, it's a vulnerable thing. Even for a guy it is. But for guys, oftentimes we kind of get so into it because it's so easy for us to get into it that we don't really care and we can have the orgasm. Whereas women, it's so much harder for them to like get immersed, get into the sexual experience, be present, be vulnerable enough to have that orgasm. And so you're gonna have to work with your partner on that, and it comes down to comfort level, and it could come down to some sort of trauma, and that would lead to some sort of sexual therapy or just general therapy to kind of get over that. But if you're a guy and your partner is struggling having an orgasm, it is probably down to their comfort level. Try to make them feel as comfortable as possible so that they can be as immersed as possible in that experience. That way they can feel open enough to be vulnerable enough to just release and have that orgasm with you.
Okay. Do you care if your partner watches porn?
Do you care if your partner watches porn? The answer to this question should be yes, because porn will ruin your relationship, especially high-speed internet porn, the porn that we can access nowadays because of our amazing high-speed internet. That is going to ruin your relationship. And it's going to kind of strip you guys of any intimacy, any kind of sexual connection. It's such a bad thing. I could go into porn for hours and hours and how bad it is, but basically it is so stimulating having it at such a high speed that we do now, that we have access to, that it becomes more sexually stimulating than your partner can ever be in real life. And so over time, if you keep watching porn, you're gonna want porn a little bit more than your partner, and then you're gonna think, maybe I'm just not that into my partner anymore. Maybe I need to move on to someone else. Maybe I need to change this. Maybe we should watch porn together. And it just strips you guys of that intimacy and that connection. And sexual pleasure, it's going to ruin it. So don't watch porn ever. As a couple, don't watch it, and don't be okay if your partner does. Talk to them and tell them that you don't want porn to ruin your relationship, because you know it will. Because you watch my videos and you've subscribed, and if you haven't subscribed, then do it now. And you know how bad porn can be, so yeah, there you go. Let me shut my mouth and see what these people have to say about it.
I do. Personally, I don't think it is okay to watch. It would definitely hinder our relationship and our connection, especially since we haven't had sex. I want to be the only woman that he looks at, you know?
From everything that we know about porn and any study done, I don't see any healthy benefits to it.
Exactly, there are no benefits to it whatsoever. It is instant gratification, it's bad, it's, like I said, I could go on for hours, but let's continue.
I don't care if she watches porn. I enjoy watching porn together. That's pretty fun. Everyone should try it.
Seriously, some people need it.
No one needs it, and you shouldn't watch it together, and yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, we both watch porn.
Yeah. We didn't show each other the porn to watch. Like, did you see this one?
I don't understand the stigma behind it too, because it's just like everyone watches it.
I feel like porn often can be just used as a tool to like fix a problem or a stress or something to be integrated into your life that has nothing to really do with sexual like satisfaction. It's more of just something to do to feel different. I've struggled with that my whole life, is using things to feel better instead of actually dealing with whatever the problem is at hand.
Okay, so it's a little bit aggravating when I hear, oh, I don't get the stigma behind it. Everyone does it, so, you know, because everyone does it, it must be okay, right? And no, that is not the case. Just because everyone does it doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. I think it's one of the leading causes of mental illness in our world today, because I have experienced mental illness from a porn addiction, and I know so many other people that have. Don't watch porn just because everyone else does it. Be different. Be better than that.
See, does your partner's body count matter to you? Why and why not?
Does your partner's body count matter to you? So for a lot of people, it does. And should it matter? Well, probably not, because what people did in the past doesn't necessarily define who they are in the present. Of course, those situations, those past experiences molded who they are, but it doesn't say anything about who they are in the present. If someone has sex with a ton of people when they were 16 years old, I mean, look back to when you were, if you are 16 right now, I'm sorry to tell you, but you will look back when you were my age and think that you were a complete moron at 16. And that happens every single year you grow older. You realize how dumb you were in the past, and if you don't, then you probably need to grow up a little bit more. So yeah, to judge someone based on decisions they made when they were an idiot, I don't think it has any weight on who they are as a person right now, unless you make it that way. And if you're uncomfortable with it and you can't cope with it, then maybe you have the issue and not your partner. But yeah, let's see what these guys have to say about it.
No, it doesn't matter to me.
Definitely when we were dating, there were a lot of people, especially people who didn't know us, that would like to assume that I was dating him for money. My mom even thought I was dating him for money.
I'm broke.
When he opened up to me, I didn't realize like how many people he has experience with, which it didn't bother me because he was really transparent about it when I asked.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, we never talked about it.
Yeah.
I actually am attracted to a woman with experience. And for me, I have no room to shame because my body count is something.
Yeah. Why Jared laughed is because he lied to me about his partners. So he told me, I think he said 7.
No one should believe anybody that says 7.
Well, I did.
That's just not a right number.
And then this year, for the first time, he was like, you know it's not 7, right? And I was like, no, I didn't. I don't know, I don't care, but I was just like, why would you lie about that?
There's so much pressure about body count, and I think when you have a high body count, there's like a stigma that gets placed on you, maybe rightfully so. But I didn't want that to interfere with what we had going on.
I talk about sex for a living. Why would I, of all people, be like, oh, you've had sex with double digits?
Well, you made such a big deal about it being 7.
Because it was crazy.
Such a big deal.
So yeah, what I think we can learn from this is be honest with your partner. Don't just communicate with them just to communicate. Be honest and try to seek honesty from them. And that's the only way you're going to grow as a couple.
I'm talking first on this one. So, and we've had this conversation before where it was like, I don't know, over 100 for your body count, probably?
I don't know.
He doesn't know.
Something like that.
So he's been sober for 7 years, going on 8, and so a lot of it was like, I don't know what you're doing, you know, like you're fucked up, I'm fucked up kind of situation.
At least half I can't even like really recall the names and stuff.
I mean, it may have bothered me in the beginning, not for like, oh, this is how many people's lives you've been a part of, but more so of like, I felt out-experienced kind of thing.
I struggle with emotional connection in sex, and that is one thing that actually, I don't even think I've told it to you, but that has been, I can't compare anything. Yeah, I can't compare anything to the way that I feel with you emotionally in sex. I just can't.
What an amazing way to end this video, with that message about emotional connection and how amazing it makes the sex. It just goes to show you that casual hookups where there isn't that connection, or just straight up banging someone the first day you meet them and you haven't built that connection, that kind of sex isn't going to be as good. Take it from this guy and take it from me. Building a connection with your partner is going to improve the sex by so much. It's going to make it so unique, so special, and amazing. I don't know what else I could say about it. So amazing lesson right there. The other thing I will say is another thing that body count can possibly do is breed insecurity. If your partner has way more sexual partners than you may feel insecure about your performance. And insecurity is basically the bane of all sexual pleasure whatsoever. So definitely try not to be insecure about it. You know, you never know the quality of the sex or how connected they are to that person. And so just because they got off with someone, just because they had some experience sexually with someone, doesn't mean it was good sex, doesn't mean they learned anything from it, doesn't mean they gained any new experience or knowledge. Most likely they didn't. And so it shouldn't be a big deal, and you shouldn't feel insecure about it, because everyone starts somewhere and everyone has varying levels of experience, and it doesn't really matter, because sex with different people is going to be different, and it's going to demand different actions, different behaviors in order to be good, in order to be pleasurable. So you're going to have to learn what your partner likes, communicate with them, connect with them, like he mentioned, in order to have great sexual experiences. So no matter how much experience you bring to the table, it can only bring you so far, because you have to get to know that person that you are having sex with in order to make it better. So end of the video here. That will do it for this Jubilee video. What is sex like for straight couples? Hope you guys learned something. Hope you found it informative. Thank you so much for watching. Go down there and smash that like button, because you just want to destroy that thing, because it's just a sexy little whore like button. Anyway, hope you guys can get out there and have amazing sex. See you guys in the next video. Bye guys.